Hakadosh Boker Or Shavua Tov Masechet Nazir Daf Samach Bet Amud Aleph 62A1. We were in the middle of a discussion whether there exists Nazirut by a goy, by a non-Jew or not. So the Gemara says Yachol Lo Yun Nazirut Klal. Since at the end of the day, right? We just said that since Bnei Yisrael they could come and shave off all their hairs on the Nazirut of their fathers, but not the goyim. So I would have thought to say that they could not become a Nazir whatsoever. Tamul Ish comes teach you Ish. That what? That really bad. There is a dina of Nazirut for Avdei Kochavim. So why does Rava come and say that you cannot learn from the word Ish? So says the Gemara, Ha'itman Rabbi Yochanan L'chai ben Nazir. It's Halakha Moshe Misinai. Since it's Halakha Moshe Misinai and it's not Mefurash ben the Torah, so therefore we're going to say the pasuk Bnei Yisrael comes to say that of Avdei Kochavim there is no Nazirut. Says the Gemara, Hachi, if so, Ish ki afli. Yeah, when a person comes and he says, a man that is going to make a neder berkecha, barachin lamli. Why does it say by arachin, ish? If at the end of the day, ish comes to be lerabot of the kochavim, that you can do haracha, which means that you can do what? Haracha means you can do evaluations. So michte, haitkash arachin lenedarim. There's a kesh, there's a juxtaposition between arachin and nedarim. The Amar Krab, as the pasuk says, "Ish ki afli neder berkecha." Right, when a person is going to come and he's going to make a neder berkecha. V'atanya, we learned in a braita by nedarim. Ish matamul omar ish. If it already says ish, why does it say ish? Meaning, why does it have to say a double language of ish? So it says lerabot dogoy cholim shenodrim nedarim devot. That means a goy can come and make a neder of a nedarim and devot. He Yisrael just like a Jew. The ish ki afli, and this entire concept of ish ki afli barachin lamali. So why do we have a bayarachin? Ela hay ish mibayle ela etuye mufle samuch leish. But rather, when it comes and it tells you this ish, it's coming to teach you that we're talking about a katan, which is almost at the age of a gadol, of an ish, and therefore, which is basically 1 year before he becomes bar mitzvah, or 1 year before she becomes bat mitzvah, and therefore we say that the neder of a katan or a katana, right by their bar bat mitzvah, is considered a neder. Why? Because that's why they say the double expression. So it says the Gemara, right? This is good according to the man Amar Mufles Mchlish is Doraita. But according to the man Amar that it's something going to be Drabanan. Ish ki afli lamali. Why do I need this concept of Ish ki afli? So it says the Gemara, La tuye mufles samuch leish doved kochavim. We're talking about that it's coming to include a katan, which is samuch leish of a goy, that it's also going to be chal. That means even if you have a non-Jewish child that is close to the age of bar bat mitzvah, and they make a neder, it's going to be chal. So hani chalaman, this is according to the man Damar Bnei Yisrael and Nechim of the Kochim Nenechim. The Bnei Yisrael are going to be evaluated, not the non-Jews. Yachol, I would have thought to say, lo you manichim, you cannot come, and they cannot make a neder of aracha at all. Tamluman ish shapi. So therefore, it comes. It's actually good. But according to the Mandamar, that basically that it's only the Jews that can do it, not the non-Jews. I would have thought to say then you cannot take the value of a non-Jew. Meaning, even if I would say, okay, fine, I'm going to take the value of this Mr. Non-Jew, Mr. X, so it's not going to be good. It does help. Even if you have a tinok that is a 1-month-old baby, you could make an erech on him. So why do I need in the pasuk ki afli? So Amar Rabada Barava says Rabada Barava, lo etuye avdei kochavim gadol, to include a non-Jew that's already a gadol. The afal gav the gadol who believes even though he's gadol, eno yodea leaflot. Right? He does not have to explain the neder, and because of that, he cannot be marich himself. Meaning, he cannot do the arachim, but I could do an erech for him. Which means I could come and I could do an erech for the non-Jew. That I'm going to give the value of a non-Jew, but the non-Jew himself does not give any arachim. Ella barab. When it says kiafli, right? When it says kiafli lindor neder nazir, but the katav ramam gabe nezirut. Lamali, why do I need kiafli by the nezirut? Michti haitkush nezirut, and then there's a hekesh between a neder and nedari and nezirut. So kiafli lamali, why do I need this? So he says la tuye comes to include yadayim she'enan mochachot. Even if it's not going to be mochachot, these members will state that yadayim she'enan mochachot amar Rabbi amar yadayim Rabbi lo yadayim. Which means like this. If you remember, we said that what happens if a person comes and he uses a terminology which is not 100% I'm not going to say accurate. It's not 100% decisive what his thought was. Right? That's called yadayim she'ena mochichot. It's not 100% like straight. It's like, he could have meant this. Yadayim she'ena mochichot. Is that a good acceptance of the zirut or not? Abaye says yes, it's considered yadayim, and Rava says no. So l'Rava nicha, according to Rava, it's going to be good, because when it says kiyafli, it says yadayim she'ena mochichot is nothing. But according to the Baye, what are you going to say then? What do you say el kiyafli? So he says ela kiyafli mi baile. He needs like a bitarfon. The Tanya was learned on a brighter. Yehuda memship bitarfon. Says Yehuda name bitarfon. En echad mehen nazir lefi shelo nitara nazirut ela lafla. Right? You have to remember that if a person comes and he makes a neder of nazirut, it's not going to be chal. Right? Only when you're going to explain the words, that it's going to be barur midoch dvarav. It's going to be certain from his words that the neder is going to be chal. Meaning, for a person to become a nazir, it has to be that the neder is going to be chal. If it's not 100% that he's going to become a nazir, he's not a nazir. Okay? So he says, Hani chal bitufon, this is good according to Rabbi Tarfon, and Rabbi Nameka, what are you going to do according to the rabbis? So he says, they needed the Tanya to learn to the Braita. Heter nedarim porchim ba'avir. If you remember, we already brought this down. The heter of nedarim is flying in the air. And they don't have what to rely on. What does that mean? You remember we said that how do you annul a neder? So you come and you do hatarat nedarim. But if you remember, there was a whole question. Hatarat nedarim, do you need charata? How do you do it? Does it have to be something that you already knew that was coming? A petach, not a petach, you remember? So he says the concept of heter nedarim is like flying in the air. It's not very strong. Rabbi Eliezer says the yesh lamesh mazbochu d'shleima ki ish kiyafli. Kiyafli shtei parim. What is it twice? One of them is a flav isur. That means you're explaining what was the isur, and the other one was explaining what is the heter. So the noder has to explain to the chacham his neder and what came out from it. Okay, that basically that because of that you're going to come and you're going to be mitcharet on the neder. Okay, fine. Samech bet amubet Mishnah. There's a Mishnah at the top of the page, and then there's going to be a Mishnah at the bottom. It says the Mishnah, Chomer b'nezirut ba'avadim menashim. There's a chumrah by nezirut by a slave more than woman. Shehu mefer nidrei ishto, because a man can annul the nedarim of his wife. Ve'eno mefer nidrei avdo, but he cannot annul the nedarim of his servant. Meaning a woman makes a neder, the husband could come, mufar lach, kapara. Yeah, it went. There's no neder. He cannot do that for a slave. Not only that, when a person's mefer li'ishto, it's mefer olamit, meaning that even after, let's say she becomes widowed or she becomes divorced, there's nothing there anymore. Because the husband completely uprooted it in a fashion that there's nothing there. But tefer le'avdo, which means if he went and he said that he forced his slave to start drinking wine or do whatever it is, when he goes out free, now he has to do the nezirut. Meaning it's just like a non-extension. It's like you're pushing it off. Yeah, it's which one is?
It's like it's in brackets.
Exactly, it's like it's in brackets, but it's like a deferral. No, the deferral. That's the word. That you're pushing something. That means it's there, but you just defer it, right? You just defer it for a certain amount of time until afterwards it's going to come back into place. Okay, Tanu Rabbana, we learned in the Braita, says the Gemara, Lama Rabbo Kofo. Why is it that the master could force him against his Nazirut? So he says that's only going to be for Nazirut. Aval Nedarim velo la'alachim, right? But not for any type of Nedarim or Alachim. Which means if the ever made a Neder of Arachim, yeah, he says, right? He's going to be chayav lekayem et neder. So my shnaga ben nazir. What's the difference between the nazir damar rachmana that the Torah says lesor yisel nafsho, that he says that this is talking about bemin shenafsho kruyalo, that it's going to be acquired to him. Yatsa evet she'en nafsho kruyalo. This is going to exclude a slave, that it's not going to be acquired to him. Ihachiv so afilu gaber nedarim nami. So even by nedarim also it's going to be the exact same thing, which means that the adon could come and force the slave to be over on the neder. But the pasuk is talking about parashat nedarim. So why are you making a differentiation between Nezirut and Nedarim? We said, by Nezirut, the master could force him. but not by a neder erachin. Why? Should be the exact same thing. So Rav Sheshat says, Rav Sheshat, what are we dealing with? You had a cluster of grapes right in front of him. That to do with nedarim, that if it's going to be prohibited in this, it's not going to be prohibited in something else. So lo matzi kafile. So therefore, you could not come and force him. But to do with nezirut, yeah, that when you're going to prohibit in this, it's not going to prohibit in everything, which means by nezirut, the second you prohibited one cluster, everything's the same. But by the entire concept of nedarim, it's only on this cluster. If you made a neder, I'm not going to have this cluster. So it's this cluster, it's not on all the clusters, right? By nezirut, it's on everything. So says the Gemara, what about? Are we not talking about that there's only one cluster of grapes? And therefore, by the nedarim, it's also going to be asur. If he's not going to eat it, he cannot serve properly. So therefore, if so, why is it that the master, right, cannot force him to come and to eat from it? Only if he eats those grapes, that's how he's going to serve his master properly. And Rava says, he had a garim, he had like the chartzanim, or the pits of the grapes in front of him, and he made a neder against these chartzanim. So to do with nedarim, he's only permitted in this one, right? So therefore you cannot come and you cannot force him. But by a nazir, that he's prohibited in everything, matzi kafele, he could force him. Meaning that it's only on this. So if the master went and got him another chartzanim, other pits, it would be okay. So therefore we cannot force him to eat this pits, because basically if there's a way out of the isud, we're not going to say that the master could force it. But by here, it's on everything the isud. Yeah. Also, we're not talking about that there's only going to be this chartzan. If you're not going to eat it, you're going to become weak, and therefore you cannot work for the master. So therefore, it should be that the master should be able to force him to come and to do.
My question, I don't understand why he should respect the slave. What does he have to force it? If it's to give
exactly
strength to work,
to give strength to work, exactly. Because if not, then he can't do it in. Right? That means this is to help him to work.
It's like.
So it says the Gemara, and to do with nedarim. Milo askino, are we also not talking about that you only have this chartzan, that if you're not going to eat it, you're going to become weak? But rather Rabbi says, why does the master have to come and force him? Lenezirut, from nezirut. But you don't need to force him to be over on the neder, the shavua, because nedarim shuot are not going to be chalim at all. That means even if the master did not force him, it's not going to be chal. Meaning there's a big difference now. Now we're saying if the Eved made a neder for the fact that he's subjugated to the master, sorry, thank you, right? The fact that he's subjugated to the master, it's not even chal. It doesn't even take place. By then in Zirut, it does take place, and therefore it's like a deferral. He forces him to eat, and then afterwards, when he gets freed, now it goes back into place. Here, it's not even chal. My time, what's reasoning? The Merkabah says a pasuk, right? This is incredible. We just read this the Shabbat. When a person is going to make a shavua to do something for the bad or for the good, right? And that, for example, he's going to swear not to eat or to eat. And therefore, the hara'ah and the tovah, that means the good and the bad was juxtaposed. Just like hatovah, just like something that's going to be good is always a reshut. So to do something bad is going to be a reshut. Yatzal le'ara la'achrim, and that's going to exclude that if you're doing bad to somebody else. She'ena reshut biyado. So here, the fact that it's doing bad to somebody else, who's somebody else? The master. When this Eved comes and he made this shavua, and now it's going to have a negative effect on the master, because now the master, so that's why it's not going to be good. That's why it's not going to come, and it's not going to be chal. So we learn from here that nedarim are not going to be chal if they have something negative to other people, and therefore the same thing over here to do with this person. Says in Mishnah, next Mishnah, right? Avar mikeneged panav. Imagine the Eved comes in front of the Adon, right? That he ran away from him, right? Right after he did Nezirut. Rabbi says, Lo yishteh, he's not allowed to come and he's not allowed to drink wine. Because once the Nezirut was chal, that's it. Rabbi Yosef says, no, yishteh, he's allowed to drink wine. What does that mean? That means basically, even if it is that he ran away, that's the pshat, avar mikeneged panav, he ran away from the master, right? He made himself into a Nazir. and then he took off. So we learned that the Nazirut by an Eved is a deferral. What do I mean? It gets deferred. That means after he gets freed, he has to do it. But here, he didn't really get freed. He just ran away, took off, and became a fugitive, took off. So says there's a machloket between Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef. Is he allowed to drink wine or not allowed to drink wine? Says the Gemara, why don't we just say there's a machloket in Shmuel? The Amar Shmuel, but Shmuel comes and he says, Hamafkid of do, if somebody's going to be mafkid a slave, he goes out to freedom, then he does not need to get shechrur. Rabbi Meir comes and he says, he holds of Shmuel. Rabbi Yosef, and Rabbi Yosef says, he doesn't hold of Shmuel, which means that according to Shmuel, if somebody's mafkid of do, he goes out to cherut, and he does not need a get shechrur, right? So therefore, what happens is that since the slave ran away, mistama, the owners already had yush, meaning they gave up hope, and therefore that's it. And then it was like mafkiroto. So according to Rabbi Meir holds like the Shmuel, and therefore what happens? He goes out to the cherut. Since he goes out to the cherut, he has to do his nezirut. But according to Rabbi Yosef, he doesn't hold the Shmuel. So says the Gemara, no, everybody holds the Shmuel. According to Mandamar, that he should drink wine, Savari holds but he came back to him. Meaning the fact that he came back to his master, that's why he has to actually come. So therefore, it's better that he drinks wine in order that what? In order that he doesn't become weak. But according to the Mandamar, that he's not going to drink. Savari holds level it's a tsa'ar. So you shouldn't drink wine after running away. In order to be magdim again, to go, that it's going to be permitted to come into, to go against the master. So therefore, after he ran away, it becomes prohibited for him to drink wine, because right now, right, when he's away from the master cannot rebuke him for his nezirut, and therefore the nezirut is chal. And therefore, even if afterwards he's going to come back, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's it. This is going to be his sahar now, that now he has to actually continue doing his nezirut. And we continue tomorrow with the Mishnah.